This is my second mini research project. I wanted to speak about the Palmer and Cervantes Soon reading. I actually decided to use both of them because I think they could closely relate to my situation, but in reality, I have no experience with either program because my district, my campus uses something completely different. But I believe that either one of the programs used in the readings could really be used in my district or my campus, and the students would be able to benefit. I'm gonna start with the Palmer reading. In the Palmer reading, she argues that we must be patient in order for a program to work, especially for it to be successful, such as the Gomez and Gomez program, the two-way immersion for bilinguals. In this reading, it was in elementary school was I guess the placebo. They started using the Gomez and Gomez program, the dual language program, to improve their language by shifting away from the early exit program. And I believe that would be an excellent thing to do because you don't rush the students to learn the language, and you also allow them to use their first language in order to learn the second. Because I'm a sixth grade reading teacher, and it's very hard to teach a language when they don't have a foundation, when they don't even have a first language. So it's important for them to know how to read in Spanish so that they can then transfer that into their L2, which would be English. The article goes into details in talking about their training. I believe that a 3-day training is not enough to completely train someone on how to use a program. I also believe that resources are necessary, and I know that some of the teachers felt like they didn't have enough resources. So that is also something huge. I think students need visuals. The teacher needs resources. They need manipulatives, especially like in math. I know that in reading, it's also important to use visuals, anchor charts, the word walls. All of those things are important, whether they're in elementary or secondary. Palmer was also able to present both sides of the argument. She showed teachers that were all for it, positive, excited to do the change in their classroom. Then you had all other teachers who felt that they felt that they were just not. It wasn't going to be successful. Simply because, like I said, they didn't feel like they had the resources necessary. They didn't feel it was enough time. To finalize with the Cervantes, I believe that she is correct. Time is an important factor. You can't see change in 2 years. You need to see it over time. The success is only seen, over a certain amount of years, from elementary to secondary, from secondary, till they finish in high school. So it's very important to take the time to see those changes. For the Cervantes Soon article, I am not like I said, I'm not I can't relate to these programs like the one used in North Carolina, because, like I said, the campus I work at, the district I work at, doesn't support these. But what I really liked about this one was that it also supported the second language acquisition through the use of the first. I think that is the most important thing, to have the students, yes, utilize the first language in order to learn the second. Also, I know that they spoke about it not being to target, specifically for these students that are immigrants. But I feel that at the end of the day, it's successful. It works. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will work everywhere. If they're trying to get it, it's like Cervantes says, it doesn't mean it will be successful everywhere. I think that it needs to be tweaked to where it will work for a specific district or for a specific place. For this one, it worked because the students are English native speakers. Here for us in the Valley, it would be very hard to find an English native speaker because most of us, and I say most of us, our first language was Spanish. Our second language is English. So I believe that to be an important factor as well. What I did learn from this article was that dual language does have its pitfalls in education, especially with who is managing this program. Like, who is in charge? Who is being, targeted? Like, why is it being used? In our example, I guess, would be to target the ELLs. And this one, it's to target the English native speakers. So I think that's important, and that's what I got from this article. Like I said, I couldn't relate to either programs because they're not used in my district, but I think that dual language immersion programs are important and would be successful. And that concludes my main research project.